Hello everyone, and welcome aboard to Nautical Diz, the channel that follows nautical Disney history and my journey into the marine industry as a future student in marine navigation. So follow along as we journey into the inspiration and some of the history of Disney ships and the journey into a career on the water. In my next video, I will be covering a story about a ferry boat attraction that used to be at Disneyland, Disney World, and Disneyland Paris. These boats were the Mike Fink Keelboats, and unlike the steamboats that shared the river with them, they do not run along a track. However, there is a reason why they are not around anymore. This is the story of the beginning and the unfortunate end of the Mike Fink Keelboats. The Keelboats were an attraction on Disneyland's Rivers of America. In 1955 until 1997, they were an opening day offering at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, sailing from October 1st, 1971 until 2001, and the Disneyland Paris variation of the Keelboats enjoyed an 18-year run at Disneyland Paris before they too sailed off into the sunset. There were just two boats at Disneyland and Disney World, and both were called Gollywumper and the Bertha May. And also in Disneyland Paris, they had two boats as well called Raccoon and Coyote. When they were first introduced, each keelboat was 38 feet long and only carried 12 passengers, who were seated on either outside benches or inside the small cabin. Their seafaring debut as a prop used during two Davy Crockett series episodes, which debuted in 1955. From the beginning, the park's keelboats were problematic. The fact that they could only handle 12 guests per trip was a big issue. So to that, they were also free-floating vessels, meaning that there were skilled pilots needing to navigate the crowded waterway. When the change of the 12 to 24 passenger increase happened, one skipper was able to try out the new boat, and he stated, "I worked part-time in Frontierland, driving the keelboats, the Mark Twain, and the rafts to and from Tom Sawyer Island. I was the first driver of the new keelboat after the bigger boat carrying 24 instead of 12. He was a gentleman who would later go on to supervise all the watercraft in Disney World, and he remembers the experience, which turned out quite harrowing." He continued, "It was at night, about 10 o'clock, when they brought the new keelboat around. They said, 'Ted, we want you to take this keelboat and try her out. It's a new keelboat. We're going to double the capacity.' It had a new upper deck where people could climb up the ladder and sit 5 on each side. As the guests boarded and went to the top deck before leaving the dock, all of a sudden, the deck just jumped, coming awash. I had to let her go of the tiller and hang on to the ladder, or I would have fallen into the water. I thought we were going all over. And finally, I pulled myself up, and it turns out I may have been the difference between us sinking or staying afloat. The boat started bobbing back and forth and finally righted itself. The passengers were visibly shaken," the skipper recalled. Luckily, this was just a near miss, and the skipper made sure that they would not take hard turns in the new keelboats. The skipper also told his higher-ups later on, "There is no ballast in the bottom of the boats to offset the weight added up on the upper deck. To keep the boat upright, those boats need ballast," he stated. However, in 1997, in Disneyland is the fateful year where the Mike Fink Keelboats would meet its end. Disneyland's Gollywumper did roll over and end up capsizing, tipping over on the port side. After this rollover incident, they were eventually phased out as an attraction. Although a keelboat in Disneyland and later Disney World also phased out, which was the single keelboat, they were used as props along the rivers of America, before standing the test of time, which reduced them just to scrap wood. This proves when designing boats for any purpose that has to be thought out very thoughtfully, and refitted to ensure the safety of its crew and its cargo, in this case, passengers. And if these keelboats were still around, I definitely would go on if it was safe enough. But unlike the crew of the Black Pearl, up isn't down. Thank you again everyone for watching another episode of Nautical Diz. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps me out. I love making these videos about nautical Disney history and also new content coming in the near future about my marine navigation course, which I'll be partaking in September. So if you are interested, definitely follow along with that. Again, like and subscribe. It definitely helps me out. And again, everyone, please watch your head and step as you disembark.